The ultimatum. The quantum relay on Luna Base crackled to life, its alien technology humming with an otherworldly energy that still made Commander Elena Reyes uneasy after all these years. The holographic projection flickered before stabilizing, revealing the elongated face of High Marshal Zektoril of the Galactic Hegemony. His translucent blue image towered in the command center, mandibles clicking with barely restrained contempt. "Humans of Earth," the alien began, the translator rendering his chittering speech into flat, emotionless English. "Your resistance is noted. Your defiance is unexpected. The hegemony has annexed 17 systems this solar cycle alone. Your primitive world will be no different." Elena straightened her uniform and stepped forward, her dark eyes never leaving the alien's compound gaze. At 43, she carried the weight of humanity's defense on shoulders that had already borne too much through the First Contact War 5 years ago. "High Marshal, Earth's position remains unchanged. We are not interested in becoming another vassal state in your collection. We've studied your history. We know what happens to worlds that surrender." Behind her, the Joint Chiefs and planetary representatives stood in silence. The chamber, carved deep beneath the lunar surface, represented humanity's last secure communication hub after the hegemony's initial strikes had crippled Earth's satellite network. The aliens' mandibles clicked rapidly. Laughter, Elena had learned. "Commander Rice, you misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. Our Armada has already entered your solar system. Observe." The hologram shifted to display a real-time tactical overlay. Hundreds of warships, each larger than anything in Earth's combined fleet, were passing Neptune's orbit. Elena felt her mouth go dry but maintained her composure. "We've seen your kind before, Marshal. Species who mistake technological superiority for inevitable victory." Her voice remained steady. "Earth will not surrender." The alien's compound eyes flashed. "Then Earth will burn. You have 3 of your days to reconsider. After that, we cleanse your world and start anew with the survivors." The transmission cut, leaving an oppressive silence in the command center. Admiral Yoshida was the first to speak, his weathered face grim. "Our orbital defenses are still at 60% capacity after their last attack. Ground-based ion cannons are operational but untested against their capital ships." Elena turned to face the assembled leadership. "They think they're giving us time to surrender. Let's use it to prepare a welcome they won't forget." The next 72 hours unfolded in a blur of desperate preparation. Every nation on Earth, setting aside generations of conflict, pooled resources and knowledge. The secret facilities buried beneath the Himalayas, the Amazon, and the Antarctic ice sheet worked at maximum capacity, finalizing the planet's last hope. In her private quarters, Elena studied the tactical displays. The hegemony's behavior followed their standard pattern: intimidation, limited strikes, ultimatum, then overwhelming force. But there was something different about this invasion. Usually, the hegemony stripped planets of resources efficiently, leaving population centers intact for labor. This time, the High Marshal had threatened complete destruction. "They're afraid of us," she murmured to herself, the realization dawning slowly. Dr. Kavita Sharma entered without knocking, her normally immaculate lab coat stained with coffee and what looked like circuit coolant. "Project Prometheus is ready," she announced, her Indian accent thickened by exhaustion. "All 7 nodes are synchronized, and the quantum entanglement is stable." Elena looked up. "Will it work?" Kavita's expression was grim. "In theory, yes. In practice, we've never deployed anything like this against hegemony tech. Their shielding might have countermeasures we can't anticipate." "It's the best shot we have," Elena replied. "Activate the final sequence. I want all systems go before their deadline." As the countdown ticked toward 0, humanity held its collective breath. The hegemony fleet had maintained position just beyond Mars' orbit, a looming threat visible even to amateur astronomers on Earth's surface. When the deadline passed, the alien ships began to move in perfect formation. Their advance was methodical, precise, the approach of predators confident in their superiority. Elena stood in the Global Defense Command Center beneath Geneva, surrounded by screens showing every aspect of Earth's defenses. All stations, this is Commander Reyes. Implement Prometheus Protocol on my mark. Around the planet, 7 massive installations powered up simultaneously. Built in secret over the past 5 years using reverse-engineered hegemony technology combined with human innovation, they represented Earth's ultimate gamble. The hegemony ships entered optimal range, weapons ports opening along their hulls. "They're charging weapons," reported the tactical officer, voice tight with tension. "Now," ordered Elena. The 7 Prometheus nodes activated in perfect synchronization. Invisible to the naked eye, a quantum field expanded outward from Earth, wrapping the planet in a protective bubble, unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. When the first hegemony energy weapons discharged, the results defied their expectations. Instead of impacting Earth's conventional shields or reaching the surface, the energy beams curved back upon themselves, redirected by the quantum field. 3 hegemony destroyers erupted in silent flames as their own weaponry tore through their hulls. "By God, it worked," breathed Admiral Yoshida. The alien fleet paused, clearly confused by this unexpected development. Then, in a display of arrogance that would prove costly, they intensified their attack. More ships moved forward, unleashing their full arsenal. The quantum field shimmered under the strain but held firm, continuing to reflect the energy back at its source. Ship after ship fell victim to their own weaponry. For every successful reflection, Earth's conventional defenses targeted the damaged vessels with precision strikes from ground-based ion cannons. In the command center, Elena watched as the tactical display showed the hegemony fleet breaking formation, their perfect coordination dissolving into chaos. "They're retreating," announced the tactical officer, disbelief evident in his voice. "No," Elena corrected, watching the movement patterns. "They're regrouping. This was just their vanguard. The real test is still coming." As the first wave of hegemony ships withdrew beyond Mars orbit, the quantum field collapsed, its power reserves depleted. Dr. Sharma's face appeared on Elena's private screen. "Commander, the field generators are burned out. We need at least 48 hours to restore functionality." Elena nodded grimly. "We hurt them, but they'll be back. And next time, they'll have adapted." The hegemony's response came swiftly, not as another attack, but as a communication. High Marshal Zektoral's hologram materialized once more, but the alien's posture had changed subtly. "Commander Reyes," the Marshal began, mandibles moving slowly, "it seems we have underestimated your species' resourcefulness. The hegemony proposes a temporary cessation of hostilities while we reassess the situation." Elena exchanged glances with Admiral Yoshida before responding. "We accept your ceasefire, Marshal. But understand this, Earth is not, and will never be, a conquest for your empire. When you return, and we know you will, we'll be ready." The alien's compound eyes flashed with what might have been respect. "Perhaps. Until then, Commander." As the transmission ended, Elena turned to her staff. "We've bought ourselves time, but this isn't over. The hegemony doesn't retreat. They re-strategize. Get me every scientist, engineer, and tactical analyst we have. We just showed them our best card. Now we need a whole new deck before they come back." The room erupted into activity as humanity prepared for the next phase of a war they never wanted but were determined to win. The Reckoning. 2 months passed in a flurry of preparation. The deceptive peace held, but Earth's orbital observation posts tracked the growing hegemony fleet assembling beyond Saturn. Each passing day brought more warships, each larger and more heavily armed than those in the first wave. In the underground command center in Geneva, Commander Elena Reyes studied the latest intelligence reports with growing concern. Dr. Sharma stood beside her, The scientists' usually impeccable appearance, now permanently disheveled from endless work sessions. They've modified their shield harmonics, Kavita said, pointing to the spectral analysis. Our quantum field won't work twice. They've adapted, just as we feared. Elena nodded grimly. And Prometheus, Mark I. Still theoretical. We need another month, minimum. Admiral Yoshida joined them, his face carved with new lines of exhaustion. We don't have a month. Their fleet movement suggests they'll be in attack position within 72 hours. Then we implement Sunfire, Elena said quietly. The room fell silent. Project Sunfire represented humanity's most desperate gambit, a last resort that even many of Earth's leaders considered too extreme. The Security Council hasn't authorized Sunfire, Yoshida reminded her. They will, Elena replied, when they see what's coming. The emergency session of the United Earth Security Council convened virtually 6 hours later. Representatives from all 12 global regions appeared on screens surrounding the central table where Elena stood alone. Commander Reyes, began the council chair, you've requested emergency authorization for Project Sunfire. The council remains concerned about potential consequences that could exceed the damage of a hegemony invasion. Elena activated the holographic display. This is their armada, updated as of 1 hour ago. 342 capital ships, over 1,000 support vessels. Their combined firepower could glass our planet's surface in under 6 hours. She let the display rotate slowly, the overwhelming force evident to all. Conventional defenses will fail. Our remaining quantum technology will be ineffective. Sunfire is our only option for survival. It's never been tested at full scale, objected the European representative. The simulations suggest a 30% chance of catastrophic failure, which still gives us a 70% chance of success, Elena countered. The hegemony offers 0. After 3 hours of heated debate, the authorization came through with a narrow majority. Elena wasted no time, immediately contacting the 7 Sunfire installation commanders scattered across the globe. Initiate final preparations, she ordered. We have less than 60 hours. The hegemony attack began exactly as predicted. Their massive fleet entered Earth's outer defense perimeter in perfect formation, but instead of the methodical approach of their first assault, they accelerated suddenly, their engines flaring with unprecedented power. They're attempting to overwhelm our tracking systems, reported the tactical officer. Multiple targeting solutions failing. Elena remained calm. Deploy all conventional countermeasures. Keep them occupied. Earth's remaining orbital platforms and ground-based defense systems opened fire simultaneously. Railguns, particle beams, and nuclear-tipped missiles launched in a desperate attempt to slow the alien advance. For every hegemony ship damaged or destroyed, 5 more took its place. In orbit, Earth's combined fleet engaged the enemy's vanguard. Human ships, though outmatched in technology and firepower, fought with desperate courage. The space around Earth lit up with explosions as vessels from both sides were reduced to expanding clouds of debris. High Marshal Zektoral's transmission cut through the chaos, appearing on all command screens. Your resistance is futile, Commander. Impressive, but futile. Surrender now, and we may yet preserve some portion of your population. Elena's response was measured. You still don't understand us, Marshal. Humans don't surrender when the odds are impossible. That's when we fight hardest. The alien's mandibles clicked rapidly. Then you will be remembered as brave but foolish. As the transmission ended, Elena activated her secure channel to all Sunfire installations. Initiate primary sequence. T-minus 10 minutes to full activation. Around the globe, deep beneath mountains and oceans, massive generators hum to life. Based on a theoretical application of quantum mechanics that even the hegemony had never mastered, Sunfire represented humanity's understanding that sometimes the best defense came from unexpected directions. The hegemony fleet pushed forward, their superior firepower decimating Earth's outer defenses. Millions washed from the ground as the battle raged overhead, visible even in daylight as flashes that outshone the stars. They'd broken through the lunar defense line, reported Admiral Yoshida, his voice tight. Earth's orbit will be compromised in minutes. Sunfire status, Elena demanded. 98% charged, 2 minutes to full capacity. The first hegemony destroyers entered low Earth orbit, their weapons targeting major population centers. Ground-based ion cannons managed to destroy several, but more kept coming. Sunfire at full capacity, announced Dr. Sharma. Ready on your command. Elena took a deep breath. Activate Sunfire. For a brief moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, the solar observation satellites registered an anomaly. The sun's coronal activity suddenly increased 1,000-fold as the quantum tethers created by the Sunfire installations established a direct link between Earth and specific regions of the solar surface. Channeled through this artificial connection, a precisely targeted solar flare erupted, not toward random space, but directly at the hegemony fleet. Moving at near light speed, the concentrated plasma struck before the alien ships could react. The effect was catastrophic for the invaders. Shields designed to repel conventional weapons and energy beams offered little protection against the raw power of a directed solar event. Ships closest to the flare path were vaporized instantly. Those on the periphery suffered massive systems failures as the electromagnetic pulse overwhelmed their technology. In the command center, screens showed the impossible. Nearly half the hegemony fleet disabled or destroyed in a single strike. Second wave forming, Elena ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. Target their command vessels. Before the second solar flare could be triggered, something unexpected happened. New signatures appeared on the long-range sensors, approaching rapidly from the outer system. Unknown vessels incoming, reported the sensor officer. Configuration doesn't match hegemony design. The mystery ships moved with impossible speed, their drives leaving distinctive blue-green contrails. As they approached the battle zone, they opened fire, not on Earth's defenders, but on the hegemony vessels. We're receiving a transmission, announced the communications officer, surprise evident in her voice. A new hologram appeared, showing a humanoid figure with silver-blue skin and eyes that seemed to shift colors as they spoke. People of Earth, I am Admiral Tashveri of the Resilient Worlds Collective. We've been monitoring the hegemony's expansion for centuries. Your resistance has provided us the opportunity we've been waiting for. Elena straightened. You waited until we were nearly destroyed before intervening. The alien's expression shifted in what might have been embarrassment. We needed to confirm you were worth the risk. Your Sunfire technology is impressive. No other species has successfully weaponized their star. The tactical display updated, showing the remnants of the hegemony fleet caught between Earth's defenses and the newcomers' devastating weaponry. Within hours, the invasion force was in full retreat, with Admiral Tashveri's ships pursuing them beyond the solar system. In the aftermath, High Marshal Zek Toril requested a final communication. His hologram appeared smaller somehow, the once imposing figure diminished by defeat. Commander Reyes, he began, mandibles moving slowly. The hegemony acknowledges your victory. In 3,000 cycles, no world has repelled our forces. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Remember that, Marshal, and spread the word throughout your empire. Earth is not to be trifled with. The alien's compound eyes fixed on her. A warning has already been issued to all hegemony vessels. Earth's system is now classified as a death zone. No ship will approach your borders again. After the transmission ended, Elena turned to her staff. The command center was quiet, the weight of their narrow survival settling upon everyone. We did it, Admiral Yoshida said softly. We actually did it. Elena nodded, but her expression remained serious. We survived today, but the galaxy now knows we exist and what we're capable of. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning. 2 weeks later, Elena stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Geneva spaceport, watching as diplomatic vessels from the Resilient Worlds Collective landed. Earth was about to take its first steps into galactic society, not as a conquered world, but as an equal. "They still don't fully understand us," she remarked to Dr. Sharma, who stood beside her. "No," Kavita agreed, "but they respect us. And sometimes, that's enough to start with." As Earth's representatives prepared to meet their new allies, a message circulated throughout the galaxy, passed from world to world, species to species. The humans of Earth are not to be underestimated. They turned their star into a weapon rather than surrender. They are few, they are young, but they are fierce beyond measure. Do not provoke them unless you are prepared for the consequences. The galactic hegemony had been warned, and this time they listened.